Hello, everybody. Welcome to another all-new episode of, an all-new mini episode of the Loud Casa Talks. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good buddy Omid.
Hey, what's up, Loud Crown and Casa Crew? How y'all doing?
All right. Well, it has been a while since we actually met up since we did our last episode reviews. So, how you been there? How have you been, Omid, since for this week?
I've been pretty busy, honestly, and pretty productive at the same time. So basically, this is my first week at as a full-time employee at my job, my new job.
That's good.
Whereas the previous 2 weeks, I was in a part-time position, but they switched me to the full-time position of admin clerk, and it's been going really smoothly so far.
Okay, so that's good to hear that you're doing really well over in your job. So congrats to you, and things look like you're settling in. For me right now, I'm still on the job search, and I'm also still relaxing. But the other thing too is that I think I'm progressing. I'm going to round 2 and a couple interviews, which means that I'm really close to probably getting jobs, which means I could probably land a job by the end of the month. So I'm pretty happy how progress goes.
Nice, dude. Yeah, honestly, when you're at the second round, like that pretty much ups the chances. That ups the chances of you just landing that, man. So
possibly I might get it, like I said, by the end of the week. So hopefully things are gonna look good. Another thing too, it's really hot today. Holy crap! How are you cooling down? How are you cooling down with the water you're drinking?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to drink as much water as possible. And okay, like here's a little advice to the Loud Comic Casa crew here. So if you're in like the western part of America, please stay cool, stay hydrated, and just like I said, try to keep yourself as cool and hydrated as possible during this excessive heat. Because let me tell you, the heat is wild.
Heat is hot right now, but to say the least, we're both doing fine. I got a fan on going right now, plus water and a couple of drinks just to get myself cooled down. But yeah, it's crazy. But you know what? Today's the hottest day, so the next couple of days are gonna cool down, and I think we're gonna be fine. Okay. So enough of the small talk. Let's actually go straight to our episode's reviews. And we have 2 episodes that we're going to be reviewing today, all from the Casagrandes. So let's just get things started with our first episode, Chancla Force. So Carl takes Rosa's Chancla, setting off the balance of order in the city and calling the Chancla Force into action. So this is a crazy situation of like Star Wars and like the force of the Chancla, which is interesting. From the beginning, how did you like the balance of power with Rosa and the Chanclas?
Oh boy, let me tell you. Now Rosa is a sweet abuela. She's very caring. She is very nurturing. But let me tell you, she could be fierce, and especially she really ups her fierceness with her chanclas. Let me tell you, her chanclas are her deadliest weapon. You do not mess around with abuela when she has the chanclas. No, sorry, you do not. I'm gonna tell you, like chanclas are pretty much Rosa's final smash. It is just that deadly.
It's weird because like a chanclas, I think they have their own like their own sensitivity. Just because a chancla can actually like hit people, or it can actually like be as a frisbee and actually like start to hit Carl and CJ and everybody around just to punish them or something. I'm like, okay, I get it. The whole focus of the episode is all about a slipper that literally is, I don't know what Rosa does with it, but a slipper is really painful and can restore order in the Casagrandes, which, it did.
Yes.
So the thing is that the whole story is pretty much the Chanclas are taken off because Carl took them off. Then everybody was in agreement with CJ, Carlito, and even Sergio. How surprised were you to see what happens to the Casagrandes when the Chanclas were taken off of Rosa?
While I did find it a bit strange that their personalities were alternating, mainly because of the chanclas, which are Rosa's force of power, has been taken off. I found it a tad strange that like it would alternate the personalities of the rest of the Casagrandes like entirely. But like I said before, like those chanclas, like Rosa, she does not fuck around with the chanclas like at all. So it's sort of understandable that they would pretty much go wild and free with the chanclas being gone. But still, at the same time, it's just a little weird. That's it.
No, it wasn't a little weird. I thought it was actually hilarious that everybody was like under control, but when the chocolates are off, all hell breaks loose. Like I never expected adults to actually like be all free because the chocolates are gone. Have you seen like Frida go all crazy in her music, and then you get to see like you get to see Carlos go back into skating. So it's like, oh, okay, so Carlos X is back. So what, Rosa? So what, Rosa just stopped Carlos X from happening?
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is, like, when I mean weird in a good way. Like, this is a good kind of weird, where it's actually, like, the comedy works here because the show knows that, you know, chanclas, like, they could be used as a deadly weapon by abuelas in general. So I like how, like, they use that opportunity to make it an advantage for their comedy, their over-the-top comedy. That's where they nailed it.
I think everybody would add a character in this because like the chocolates is supposed to like I don't know. It's I guess like when Rosa's chocolates are off, that means where Rosa pretty much doesn't have any power anymore. So she's pretty much just like, okay, you do your own thing, and that makes sense because like everybody else is just doing their own thing, and it turns out to be all crazy. I didn't know slippers can be so powerful. Oh my god.
Yes, like I said, you know, you don't mess with the chanclas. You don't fuck around with the chanclas, okay? They will fuck around you.
You know what? I got chanclas right here. I might as well use my power of the chancla here.
Have mercy!
This is gonna be fun now. I love the chancla. Okay, so I don't know. I mean, there's besides the whole fact of like everybody going out of course, which characters did you think was like so weird? What characters do you think was so weirded out with the chanclas being taken off?
You know, I think I would have to say, it's kind of hard. Like, I think two in particular would be Carlos, because Carlos is usually like the smart, brainy one, which means he's much more reserved. You know, like he's you know, like he's more in control of himself. You know what I mean? Like he's one of the most in control characters, self-controlled characters of the show. So it was a bit surprising to see Carlos just go wild, like go all Carlos X inside the house, which by the way is good continuity because
we've been talking about this continuity problem again. They're working. It's working.
And so you sort of see Carlos sort of going overboard with his wildness and his Carlos X.
I see what he's trying to do with the title.
He goes so overboard.
It's a title. It's the title of the episode. We get it.
Up to a point where he would take off his own pants. His own pants.
I didn't expect Carlos to go crazy like that. I'm like, okay, Carlos X used to be so chill out in college. Now he's an adult and, you know, a teacher. I never expect him to actually like be all crazy like that. You know, as a parent or something.
And the other would be Maria.
Oh my gosh, my favorite. She was my favorite. Yes. Oh my god.
I love teenage rebellious Maria. I just loved it. Like it was like there's just something about rebellious Maria that's just sort of attractive in my eyes. Like pretty much rebellious Maria is MILF to me.
Whoa. And of course, whoa! That's kind of a overboard there, Omid. actually, that's not a word. 18 up, by the way. That's 18 up.
And it's sort of like but now we have seen Maria like in small scenes where she has shown her more rebellious side before. Especially with VIP, for example, where it's revealed that she used to sneak out at night, and then like Rosa grounds her like at age 40. Like Rosa just grounds Maria at age 40. I'm just like, wow. Rosa's like full parent right there. Like,
well, then again, look, Rosa is Maria and Carlos's mom, so makes sense, right? For them to actually, you know, I would imagine that they were like absolutely punished by the chancla even throughout their like childhood, for example. So when all of those were taking out, obviously they were going to be all crazy. I just love how Maria was. She's like back to her teenage self. I love how she just walked inside the living room and just said like, Mom, what do I have for, what are we gonna have for breakfast? Can it be this? And then she feeds her with whipped cream, and I'm like, okay, this is great. Okay, just everything about this episode was amazing. Just the parents were just all loose. I mean, I never see Frida go all crazy, actually, like jumping on bed. Same with Carlota, also did the same thing too. Carlota's going crazy also. So it's to say the least. It was pretty much mayhem throughout the whole Casagrandes. Even Sergio, like he brought his whole pigeons, and the pigeons were pretty much rocking the top of the Casagrandes, or top of the apartment complex. So to say the least, all hell broke loose, and it was amazing just to see that.
Yeah, when I saw Carlota, Frida, and Maria jumping on the bed, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is definitely like a girl slumber party sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the other thing too. I mean, I don't understand, but Carl would be the one person to actually understand that there should be some balance in the Casagrandes family. So he's the one that actually has to say we need the Chanclas back. So how do you like Carl's realization that the Chanclas are really important with this whole control of the Casagrandes?
So as of now, it has been foretold that Carl Skywalker is the one that will bring balance to the Force. Like, it's part of the prophecy, pretty much.
Right. Which I thought was interesting, because it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, you're the bad boy who actually, agreed to take the Chanclas away, and then you're the one who say, hey, we need to bring balance to the Force because things are going crazy. I thought you would be the one person that actually would be like, hey, I love this right now. Everyone's breaking loose of what's going on here.
Yeah, honestly, I know it's kind of unexpected of Carl to all of a sudden turn a new leaf and, try to be obedient again, which is sort of out of character for Carl. But I would argue that it's actually really good for his development, honestly, because there's much more to him than just a bratty boy. There's actually a more compassionate and more responsible side of Carl that we have seen before, to be fair. So when I found out that everything went topsy-turvy and, the whole situation blew up in Carl's face, and like it kind of bit him in the ass, sort of, that's when he realizes, okay, I screwed up. Now I got to get the Chanclas back and just have everything go back to the way it was. I do like how it shows, like, I think it's the same thing with a previous episode that I talked about, a previous Carl episode, in which it sort of tackles on like what happens when Carl's schemes work too well. Like, they work too well up to a point where it blows up a Carl's face, and it ends up going like against his favor.
You know what I find surprising though? Carl realizing that the Chanclas are necessary, especially for taking control of the Casagrandes and everything in the household. I love the fact that like everybody who was like, because I don't know, the whole ending scene where like, he brought the Chanclas out, and the thing is like the whole family is saying like, give us the Chanclas, give us the Chanclas.
Give us the Chanclas.
What was the reference from that? It was from some sort of movie. Give us the something like that. I don't know. It was really interesting just having them, like, all of the Casagrandes going like, give us the Chanclas, and then either way, the Chanclas were destroyed by a smoothie maker. So the whole scene was like, oh great.
Hey, I'm in the mood for a cool drink, especially in this heat, in this hot weather. Chancla smoothie, anyone?
Oh my god, it's gonna be all chunky, I would imagine. Okay, so
chunky.
So here's the thing too. It was so after that scene, by the way, it pretty much became a dream. So what did you think about the fact that this was like all a dream?
Okay, one thing I gotta get out of the way right now. I really hate that it was all a dream trope. I really hate it because it makes everything that happened within the story, within the plot, end up being irrelevant by the third act, which means that like all the stuff that happened didn't really happen. So like I said, didn't have much of a the first two acts, which were basically, didn't really happen all along. Pretty much doesn't have much of an effect on the third act. That's a problem. Now, there are a few exceptions, but that's only because it would help the protagonist develop as a character and trying to prevent this dream from becoming a reality. So I could see in some cases why it could work slightly, but like I just prefer if everything wasn't a dream and like everything just like really happens, like really actually happened. Okay, like but in the case here, I feel that it did work because I feel that this episode was trying to be its own butterfly effect in a sense, where it basically shows how one little accident, one little oopsie, or one little scheme can really make the whole world turn upside down. With Butterfly Effect, it was an accident because Lincoln accidentally messed up Elisa's project, so that was an accident. But even then, like these went topsy turvy and stuff. Whereas here, it was Carl's scheme. Carl purposely took the chanclas in order to take the power away from Rose. So just like that episode, this episode shows what happens when you screw up.
So to say the least, it is kind of like Butterfly Effect, because remember back in Butterfly Effect from the Loud House where Lincoln accidentally spilled chemicals and then he never told Lisa about that? And look what happened. All hell breaks loose in the Loud House. So it kind of feels like the same way for Carl, where like he takes away the chanclas and then all hell breaks loose because the Casagrandes are out of order. That's what I'm feeling. Like it's absolutely the same thing. Like Lincoln had a problem. Lincoln pretty much didn't tell Lisa, look what the consequences are. Carl pretty much took chanclas. Look, there's the consequences. So and then you get to see like a whole realization that something will happen. Like this will happen if you never tell them, or this will happen if you never give the chanclas back to Rosa. So yeah, I mean, I totally see a similarity between the two. But to say the least, like, I think for the Loud House, in the Loud House's version, it's like, wow, yeah, they're all out of order because, like, yeah, you see Lenny smart, you see Luann become an activist, you see Luna become a rock star and get kicked out of Mick Swagger's band. So, and then here in Chancla Force, where you get to see pretty much all the Casagrandes going rabid, to say the least.
Yeah.
I gotta say though, it is kind of the same. It is kind of the same, and I really felt no difference. Maybe the fact that Carl just dreamt it, and he had a chance to fix it at the end. And then same with Lincoln back in Butterfly, like did the same thing too. Like before he didn't tell Lisa, he told Lisa, and then Lisa forgave him for that. So to say the least, I think it's both the same.
Yeah, I feel that what I like about Chancla Force also is that it's not a complete rehash of Butterfly Effect. Like there are certain aspects, certain plot points that help make it stand out as its own episode, as opposed to being Butterfly Effect 2.0. And that's what I really like about this episode.
I really do like it. I mean, it is kind of like a better way of rephrasing what Butterfly Effect was back in season 1 of The Loud House. All right, so do you want anything else to talk about in this episode?
Yes. I really like the ending too. What the episode does, the episode's ending shows how excellently Casagrandes really pull off their color schemes, because they show these flashy color schemes. We see Rosa's spirit-like character telling Carl that he did good. Like you don't need a chancla to make you be a good boy. It comes from the heart. Like I really like that. And this isn't the first time the Casagrandes have pulled off that sort of color scheme animation. As you may recall, you may remember Cursed, in which it did the exact same thing. And I'm glad they pulled off this. They brought back this technique.
I'm so surprised that the only Star Wars reference was that ending scene. There literally is just pretty much a hooded. It was pretty much like it's pretty much a hooded Rosa just saying like the chanclas are great, and then you give her back the chanclas, and then the Chancla Force logo comes up, and I'm like, yeah, this is totally Star Wars reference. What the hell is going on here?
Yeah,
I thought there were gonna be more references in this episode, but not a lot, which I was surprised about. If you got
Obi Rosa. It's Obi Rosa Kenobi.
I'm surprised. I'm like, you had so much references. I mean, even the title is already Star Wars themed. Why didn't you put more Star Wars themes on it? But I love the ending though. I thought it was pretty funny. All right, so what would you rate this episode, Omid?
I'm gonna rate this a 7.5 out of 10. I thought the episode was The episode was pretty fun to watch. Like it was sort of interesting to see an alternate reality of what happens when a certain object, a certain element of power is taken away by like the head authority of the entire Casagrande family. It was sort of fun to see like what they would do with it, how they would experiment with it. The problem is that, like I said, I wish it wasn't a dream. I sort of wish that the entire episode, like everything happened, like from start to finish, like really happened. Other than that, I really like the episode. Once again, you know, I love Rebellious Maria. I want to see more Rebellious Maria.
We need more Maria episodes. I mean, you know, in a hospital setting or in school or in the Casagrandes or even a teenage Maria, any of those, we need her. We need more focus on her. Come on. I mean, like she's just a mom with Bobby and Brownie Ann. Is that it? Is that it? There's probably more that we could bring for Maria. Hopefully they could have more episodes. Hopefully they have more in the third season or something. But yeah, for me, I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. It was hilarious. I never expected these characters to actually go out of place and, you know, became a hilarity of this episode. And I do love like the lesson that Carl gets. It's like, yeah, it's your selfish move that pretty much brought the force unbalanced, to say. And you know, I think he did. I think the dream. Yeah, I understand the dream sequence and stuff, but like I said, it's kind of relating to Butterfly Effect, and that was also a good episode, by the way. So I'm just comparing it to Butterfly Effect and how good it is, and it does really correlate between both of them and what the meaning of it is. And to say the least, yeah, Carl had a good lesson from it, and like I said, really funny episode. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me. Chancla Force, definitely one of the toppers.
Yeah, honestly, I feel this is a better version of Butterfly Effect in my opinion. Butterfly Effect, I thought it was pretty meh. Chancla Force, however, was pretty enjoyable.
I say really enjoyable just because you get to see like the other side of the Casagrandes, which you never expect to see. I wish we could get more of those. I wish we could get more of the Casagrandes like acting like this. I don't know what. Maybe another like fiesta or something happening in Great Lake City that will get them going crazy. Okay, so let's head over to our next episode that also aired last Friday. It's called Fluff Love. This is a Carlitos episode because Carlitos goes on a wild adventure to get his favorite toy in an arcade. So, how'd you like the fact that this is mostly a Carlitos episode? He's on an adventure to get a plushie, and do you agree that the crane games are rigged? That's pretty much the lesson here, by the way, in this episode.
Okay, now, like, I know it's a similar pattern between this episode and the previous one we just talked about. What both of them have in common is that they're pretty much the Casagrandes versions of particular Loud House episodes. Now, whereas Chancla Force was the Butterfly Effect of the Casagrandes, here, this is the Any Given Sunday of the Casagrandes.
I would agree with you too, because it's mostly all about Carlitos. And the thing is that Carlitos was pretty much the only one in this adventure. He actually knew how to like get through all this stuff while having a dog. Having the what's the name of the dog again? I forgot. Shit.
Lalo.
Well, having Lalo actually continue to, you know, try to like tell everybody, hey, Carlitos gone. By the way, did you feel bad for Carlito? Did you feel bad for was it Lalo, because he had to, you know, pretty much try to tell everybody, but he tried his best to actually like get Carlitos caught?
Oh God, yeah. Honestly, sort of, but I think it's more along the lines of Lalo's trying to protect Carlitos from danger, so that's why he goes through thick and thin in order to find Carlitos. Honestly, and you know what this reminds me of? It sort of gave me similar vibes to Buns and Mindy. You remember that the cartoon duo from Animaniacs, Buns and Mindy? Yeah, I feel that
you mean the two squirrels?
No, not the two squirrels. Buns and Mindy is the dog and the little girl from Animaniacs.
Right. So kind of, okay, that makes sense.
No, the squirrels are Slappy and Skippy. No, this one here, like Lalo and Carlitos here were the Buns and Mindy of the Casagrandes, because you've got a dog who is very protective of this young character, this young human. And so this dog goes above and beyond trying to find or protect this young human, while the young human, them, his or herself, like pretty much goes out of the house and like particularly and potentially goes into like dangerous territory, not necessarily dangerous territory, but more like outside territory. And so the dog acts all panicked and trying to save this human. That's what it reminded me of. That's what it reminded me of.
Okay. Oh, so it's kind of like a little reference there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like that Animaniacs touch. The Animaniacs.
I think the writers. I think the writers actually just try to pull that off, just because it's this was pretty much the whole episode though, because it's like Carlito trying to find her favorite plush toy, and at the same time you have Lalo pretty much trying to get him caught or try to get him back into the playpen. I thought it was pretty crazy, just because this isn't like pretty much any given Sunday where like the Louds would be helping Lily out, try to give her ice cream. This is more of Carlito doing his own thing, like being smart and actually like venturing out for him to actually get a plush toy from an arcade. This is where he doesn't need the Louds. He just pretty much does it by himself, and I thought that was actually pretty clever. I'm like, wow, what a wise baby this kid is.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I say this is the Any Given Sunday of the Casagrandes, because it really does show that for a baby, like Carlitos is like much smarter than you give him credit for, than you give a baby credit for. And Carlitos definitely shows his wits here, similar to how Lily showed her wits in Any Given Sunday, in which both of the babies, in their own way, use strategies, use tactics, and pretty much use methods in order to outsmart their family members in order to get what they want. Whereas Lily wants to get her ice cream sundae, Carlitos wants to get the penguin plushie.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Each of them actually did get their penguin plushie or ice cream. But for Carlito and the penguin plushie, I love the fact that in the middle of the episode, he actually gave it away. How did you like that part of Carlitos actually giving the penguin away to I forgot his name again. Shit.
Alexis.
Alexis, yeah.
Alexis. I thought it was really touching how like Carlitos realizes that, in order to avoid getting eaten by in order to avoid becoming chew toys for Vito's dogs. Seriously, Vito, like you couldn't even recognize that was your best friend's grandson? Seriously, man? What the flip? Anyway, So pretty much, as they're being chased by these dogs, Carlitos realizes that the only way that they're going to get them to stop is if he has to give up his most prized possession, makes a sacrifice to give the plushie to Alexis, because he also sees how Alexis wants the toy as well. Like Alexis was trying to get the plushie as well, but like you said before, crane games are rigged after all. Nate, you would know. I would know.
Yes, we would know.
Anyway, so like I thought it was really touching how Carlitos, for a baby, he actually has genuine compassion for others. So he does give the plushie away to Alexis, who as we've seen, like generally wants the plushie as much as he does. Well, not as much, because the ending we'll touch upon later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just actually really surprised about it. Like, I think this was kind of like a touching moment for like Carlito to actually like give away like his favorite toy that he pretty much fought for, went through this adventure for, and gave it to Alexis. And Alexis, I don't know why. I think Alexis just pretty much spent a lot of money and got depressed because he didn't get that plushie. And it makes sense why Carlito would actually give that away to Alexis. And I thought that was actually pretty nice of Carlito to actually do that. And then the other thing too is that this whole mayhem happens where like Carlito was about to get eaten by dogs. I don't know why. I don't know why Vito would do that, but you have to control your dogs a little bit there. Either way, Carlito would still eventually head back into his crib, and have a fun. Make sure that this never happened. Even if Lalo knew about it, Lalo would probably get confused again. But
oh god!
But then back at their home, Alexis did go back into their house and actually gave back that penguin. to Carlito. How'd you feel about that little ending there?
I really liked how Alexis gave the penguin plushie to Carlitos because it really shows the compassion from Alexis as well. Like he's shown as much compassion in this episode as Carlitos has, in which they're willing to, as much as they want the penguin plushie, they're willing to give it to each other. I really like that. It goes like, either way, it goes both ways. So Alexis gives the plushie to Carlitos, and he's all happy about it. And like, it makes me really respect the kid. Even like, I gotta give props to this kid. It sort of makes me want Alexis to appear in more episodes, honestly.
I believe he will probably be in more episodes. What? You've seen him in Karate Chops, and now we see him here in Fluff Love. So I would imagine this secondary character maybe making more appearances. That's the reason why. Is that the reason why Nika Futterman pretty much dropped him as a voice?
Yeah, honestly, it's sort of a coincidence that like.
Well,
I actually didn't know that Nika Futterman actually voiced Alexis.
Oh yeah, she voiced Alexis. In the beginning, when they had the first episodes with the Casagrandes in the Loud House, and then it did move on to the Casagrandes where Alexis would pop up, and then Nika Futterman would still be the voice, and then it changed after Karate Chops, and now we actually have a little kid who actually does the voice of Alexis now. So yeah, legitimacy, cool, but it kind of sucks that like Nika Futterman is pretty much like not the voice of Alexis anymore. Either way, she's Luna Loud, so she's probably gonna be Luna Loud for the rest of the show.
She already voices the best character in the entire Loud Cossaverse, so that already is enough.
But then Luann's voice, Christina Pacelli, also does voice Miranda, so and she's still the voice of Miranda right now.
Okay, that's true too.
I don't know. I guess it's based on how busy they are. So I wish Nika Futterman well. Either way, the voice of Alexis is still pretty good right now. Right now in the Casagrandes. All right. So anything else you want to bring up in this episode?
Yes, I noticed this one layered scene. This one layered scene in which he tries to show off to Ronnie Yen's like, "Hey, Ronnie Yen, come on down. I got a skateboard skirmisher. It's called the Larinator." It's like, Larinator, really? Yeah, real creative title there, man. Like, honestly, what's he doing outside trying to impress Ronnie Yen? You think maybe that we're
not shipping. No, we're not shipping this. Stop it. Do not say anything else.
I don't know. It's
sort of home improvement. No.
It's sort of weird. Why would Laird go out of his way to try to show off Ronnie Yen his skateboarding skill? Other than he may be trying to impress her because, well, I'll let you take a wild guess.
I don't know. Maybe because Ronnie Yen's the captain of the skate team in their academy. Maybe that's why.
Like in Home Improvement, even though Laird and Ronnie Yen, it was just them playing along. Like it showed that Laird doesn't really have a crush on Ronnie Yen. He's just playing along with it in order to build up this lie. But then this episode gives a small hint that deep down. Deep down.
Don't you dare be putting some ship.
Laird has a slight crush on Ronnie Yen.
No.
Which, by the way,
you're gonna get killed by everybody here tonight.
Let me make this clear. I do not. Let me repeat that, Ronikin fans. I do not. I repeat, do not ship Laird and Ronnie Yen at all. I don't.
Why would you bring the idea up, though? Why would you bring it up?
It was just like a funny theory that I wanted to present. It's just a little theory. That's it. But like, I don't ship them at all. But I'm just thinking to myself, like, why would Laird want to show it off to Ronnie Yen? If he wanted to impress someone because of crush reasons, I feel that Laird should have went to Nikki's place instead.
Oh, come on. This is way too much to say.
Now, of course,
I think this is way too much thinking.
Lincoln is the boy for Ronnie Yen, okay? Don't get me wrong. We all know Ronikin is end game. That's a straight up fact. It's just I like to draw my own theories.
I do not think Laird is obviously showing off for Ronnie Ann. This is more of just Laird, like, yeah, I guess, yeah, Laird is just showing off for Ronnie Ann, but of course this is just more of like Laird just saying, hey, I'm doing much better tricks since what I've learned in team effort, for example. So yeah, Laird is becoming a better skater, so why not show off tricks to Ronnie Ann? Maybe she's just there visiting. I don't know. I don't think they're a big couple. There was a couple thing over in Home Improvement, and they like defunct that immediately. They pretty much say no, they're not. No, they're not.
First off, we know it's not real. Okay, we know it's not real. I'm sure Laird herself knows it's not real too. I'm gonna try to say this. Like, it could be because, well, Laird obviously considers Ronnie Ann as just a friend, and Ronnie Ann is the leader of Squash, so I'm guessing that's why he would go to Ronnie Ann in order to show off this move.
Well, yeah, like I said, it was just pretty much like a random appearance by Laird. It's just comedy, like comedy stuff. I mean, we always see Vito every time, and he's more of the comedy role for a secondary character. And, we keep seeing Laird in a lot of spots where, like, he wanted monkey servants over at Zoom Emergency, and now we just see him try to show off a skate move to Ronnie Ann. He's just more for comedy. But when the squad comes back, they're probably all going to meet together and do like some sort of big event, just like they did over Blunder Party or Team Effort, for example. Yeah. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. You're not going to break my heart here.
No, it's just that observation theory stuff. I'm not saying it's true. It's definitely not Ronikin is game, but just a little theory that, there's a bit of a part of him that
you just hope it's not. You just hope it's not Endgame. You just hope it's not Endgame.
It could be it could be one-sided, but let's be honest. Relationships are sometimes one-sided. We don't know that Ronnie Ann. Come on, Ronnie Ann's not attracted to Laird. Like, honestly, she could do much better than Laird anyway.
Just Lincoln. Come on now. All right. I got anything else to say. So, how would you rate Fluff Love?
Honestly, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. This was definitely an episode where it really does show that for a 1-year-old baby, there's actually much more to him that meets the eye in terms of his wits, his strategies. And like, he's pretty much proven to be the Casagrandes' own Lily, in which even though he's a baby, like, he has these little, Rugrats like moments where for a baby, he explores, he plans out things in order to get what he wants. And just the fact that like I said, for baby, he's actually really smart for his age. So definitely give him props there. And I want to see more of that, more episodes with Carlitos, and more episodes where Carlitos can use his wits, use his smarts in order to get what he wants in other episodes as well.
I have to say this though, this definitely was I would say a really good Carlito episode. And the other thing too is that we never see Carlito episodes ever since Copycat, for example. So it's just really relaxing, the fact that he had an episode this time around, and it's an episode all about him. And just the fact that like he's just trying to be adventurous, just like Lily did at Any Given Sunday. I felt like it actually was really I think it was really fun just to see Carlito actually take the realm of being the person leading the adventure and everything. So he went through all this aspects, even with Lalo trying to catch him in the act. Nonetheless, I thought that was actually really fun. Carlito is just a really cute baby, and he's doing an episode really well. So I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10. This definitely was really exciting. I love the adventure. I love how it was. We need more Carlitos episodes. We need something like this. This is just how Carlitos episodes are supposed to be. Really fun, adventurous. Maybe another Carlito episode with a Casagrande or something, like they did with Copycat. Okay, so without further ado, I think that's pretty much it for our review. So let's head over to our previews. We have 2 episodes to preview. One of them is Prank Battle of the Grandpas. Now, this synopsis here says, when Frida's dad comes to town, Hector tries to win back his grandparents' attention. So, from the synopsis and from the previews that you saw online, tell me how you think this episode's going to be. Yeah, honestly,
it, it's just good that we finally get to see Frida's side of the family because, mainly we see, Carlos' side of the family, which is, of course, the Casagrandes themselves. But, like, I've always been curious to see what Frida's family would be like. And so it's good that we finally get a, episode in which we finally see Frida's side of the family, which is her father. And we see Frida's father be this Danny Trejo like character. And
because he is Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo, like, let me tell you, he's not just voiced by Danny Trejo, but he looks the part as well. I mean, look at this guy.
Like a biker guy. Yeah, I know. So what I thought about this is that, we get to see Frida's side of the family because, we never see Frida's side of the family. We always see the Casagrandes. But the fact that, like, the first thing that got introduced was Danny Trejo, I'm like, so are we just seeing a lot of celebrities for every guest appearance in the Casagrandes? Is that how it is? So, we get to see this guy, this grandpa. He looks to be really cool because the thing is, like, he's earning a lot of money, and he's pretty much giving his money to his grandchildren. And Frida herself too. It just feels like he's full of money compared to, like, Hector, for example, who wants to keep his money. So to say the least, I don't know what they're gonna do. I feel like Hector would try to be just like Danny, because, like, Uncle Danny, for example, or sorry, Grandpa Danny. I don't know what it is, but it feels like there's gonna be a competition between those two, and it feels like it's more of, like, trying to impress them. So it's like, Danny, like, cause like Grandpa Danny would probably do, like, something that would probably, like, make them happy, while Hector does the same thing too. This is pretty much a battle between those two just to get them happy, and then things will arise, and I would imagine, like, everybody's just probably going to, like, bring compassion to Hector, saying, like, he's you're still our abuelo, even if our Grandpa Danny is still just doing his own thing here. So I can't wait to see this. It feels interesting, just the fact that Danny Trejo is here guest starring in this episode. How do you feel about actually having, like, a celebrity like him be a part of this episode?
It's really interesting to see. Like, I think it's about time that Danny Trejo appears in a show like the Casagrandes, considering, like, he himself is Mexican. He himself is the same, like, heritage, same culture as the Casagrandes themselves. So I thought it was nice to see. Like, I haven't seen much of Danny Trejo, honestly, but I remember he was in this one episode of Breaking Bad where he was Tortuga. And if y'all fellow Breaking Bad fans are listening, like, honestly, one thing I have to say, like, you guys got culture. I give you props there. And also the fact that you may remember his head was in a turtle. Like, his head was attached to a turtle, if you guys remember that in Breaking Bad. So honestly, I have had experience watching Danny Trejo, but I haven't seen Danny Trejo in too much media.
Well, he has been known as Machete. So if everybody knows Danny Trejo, it's from that movie Machete. But he has been, like, in Nickelodeon stuff for quite a long time, actually. Especially in the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run. He did make an appearance there. So it kind of tells me, like, look, is he just reflecting towards kid shows now? That's why he's moving to the Casagrandes and just having a guest appearance here. Which is, pretty cool for Danny Trejo, because, like, I guess, big celebrities go into kiddie roles, into kid shows, which is, pretty inspirational. I mean, he is Mexican. He does reflect his voice here in the Casagrandes, which is, like, towards the Mexican theme. And I think that was really awesome for him to actually come in and actually voice in an episode. So props out to Danny Trejo to actually be a part of this, and I can't wait to see how he does here. I mean, there's only a little bit of synopsis here of how this episode will be. So to say the least, I just hope it's a good battle between grandpas, and hopefully one actually becomes, like, my favorite. I'm pretty sure Hector would still be, like, the favorite from the grandchildren, nonetheless.
He's got to be. I mean, he's been with them for the longest time. So, of course, Hector's got to be the primary abuelo for them. Oh, and also one more thing that I want to add is that, it's really awesome for me to see the actors from two shows that I really love, like two favorite shows of mine, like the same actors. Like, this isn't the first Breaking Bad actor that is going to be in the Casagrandes, because Jonathan Banks also did a role as Ronnie Ann's coach in another Casagrandes episode. So I'm just like, as a Breaking Bad fan and as a Casagrandes fan, it's just, like I literally fangasm whenever I hear their voices in the Casagrandes. So yay.
I got nothing to say here, but yeah, I really hope a good episode happens, but I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna be okay. We're all hyped up for the next episode, though. Okay, we're gonna get started on it now.
Yes. Here we go. Love is war. Let's go.
So the other episode that'll be coming out this Friday is called Prankaversary. The synopsis here is Ronnie and Lincoln. Lincoln's coming back to the Casagrandes again. He's set for a big day of pranks, and newbie Sid wants to join in on the fun too. So, Omid, explain your thoughts on how you think this episode is going to be.
Let me tell you, you know what this reminds me of? I'm gonna give you a little hint. Love is war, love is war, love is war.
I love that anime.
I love it too. I really love it too. Like I gotta watch the rest of season 2, but I really love
season 1. God, it's so funny. It's still funny. Oh my god.
It really is. It really is. I plan to watch the rest of that anime very soon. What I really like is how you got Lincoln versus Ronnie Ann. Like, of course, especially nowadays where like they're pretty much in peace with each other. They're really good friends. Like as opposed to like the beginning of season 1 where like they were sort of at each other's throats, where Ronnie Ann was like, pranking Lincoln. Like it's going to be a nice touch to see Ronnie Ann like unleash her pranking side again against Lincoln. But then like this time around, what makes it work here is that it's two-sided. Like it's mutual pranking against each other, and I'm really intrigued to see what happens next. I'm really intrigued to see who's going to win this. Honestly, like Sid is going to be the Fujiwara of this episode.
The one the one that's supposed to calm them both down.
Yes, like the BFF.
Don't tell me Sid is going to start a rapping ending.
I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see Sid do a rapping.
If we're gonna do this, hold on for a second. I got Fujiwara here.
Best girl, yes, bro. I need that plushie on now, man. I need that plushie.
They tell me Sid is going to be this girl.
Yes, Sid is going to be this girl of the episode. Yes. When you do think about it, they're both free spirited. They're both happy go lucky. Like, and of course, they're both sort of like the They're both sort of like the girl sidekicks, a chippy, right wing girl, left-handed. How do I put it? Left-hand girls of their BFFs. So I would imagine Sid Fujiwara, Ronnie and Kaguya.
And you got Lincoln as the guy character. I forgot his name.
Shirogane. It was Shirogane.
Yeah, there you go. So here's my other thing too. There has to be some sort of thing. What made them start this prankiversary? Because I guess they started the prank war a long time ago. I don't know, maybe back in Royal Woods when they started pranking each other. We just never had the history of how that became a thing of their prankiversary, quote unquote. So what they're gonna do? They're probably gonna go first scene into a scenario where Lincoln and Ronnie Ann will talk about their prankiversary, for example, and then I think Ronnie Ann will probably have a call from Lincoln saying "Hey, I'm coming over," and then Ronnie Ann obviously would say, I don't know. I know they were going to be setting up for a prankiversary, so it's they know each other that it's going to be a prankiversary. So it's hey, Ronnie Ann, I'm coming over. Just get yourselves ready. That kind of tells you that Ronnie Ann knows about it. Lincoln knows about it. That's why they're having this whole prankiversary. My other things too is how did Lincoln get to Great Lake City? Who brought him there? Was it Rita? Was it Lori? Was it a trade or something?
I think it must have been Rita, because I remember back in Horoscope when Rita also dropped off Lincoln in a Great Lake City. Chances are she might have done the same thing here, or it could be Lynn Sr.
I don't know, but it's interesting. I'm should maybe Lori could come by. Say let's say, for example, during a scene where Lori and Lincoln are driving to Great Lake City, and it's like, hey, Ronnie, I'm coming over, and Lori's coming with me too because she wants to see Bobby. So that's how the whole Prankaversary starts. And of course, you get to see the two prank each other, and then you get to see Sid probably pop up and say like, "Hey, can I be a part of this too?" And of course, helps Ronnie Ann out. So I would imagine like they're going to look. Sid is going to be a part of the prank war, and she's probably going to get the worst of it because she probably will get pranked at everything. She's like the middle person who is just fiddling around, trying to make the war stop or something like that. It's interesting. Because I don't know if Sid will actually help Ronnie Ann, but if Sid actually helps Ronnie Ann, then Lincoln probably needs to have help by somebody. But from the previews I see, it just feels like Lincoln's the only one that's going to be there from Royal Woods to come into Great Lake City. So it's more of like Lincoln versus Ronnie Ann, but Sid is probably there trying to help, and she gets caught in the act. That's what I think in Prankaversary. Either way, it feels like after they prank Sid so much that I think they're going to they say we're going to stop pranking. I feel like the end is just we're going to stop pranking. But next year we'll go a little bit better. We'll start our war at Royal Woods, for example, and see how that goes.
Oh yeah, I would imagine things going wacky. Like I would imagine like Lincoln and Ronnie Ann, it's going to be just as much of a Pranksville and Royal Woods as it is Great Lake City. I think like one thing I sort of don't get is that, okay, like Ronnie Ann has her own pranky partner, Sid. Why doesn't Lincoln tag along Luann with him as his partner? Because
I don't know.
It's Luann Loud, okay? We all know she's the queen of pranking, okay? We've seen the April Fool's trilogy. We've seen Undercover Mom, where Luann even does pranking outside of April Fool's. So I'm just like, Lincoln, why don't you bring Luann with you?
But
because she knows the ways. She knows the ways. She'll definitely be great help.
I would not be surprised if Lincoln actually calls Luann and says, "Hey, do you have some pranking tools?" Gotcha. Ronnie Ann, have a sweet taste of revenge, etc. I don't know. I would imagine that would happen. Yeah. The other thing too is that we also did see Adelaide in the commercial, so it kind of tells me what is Adelaide's role in this episode. What do you think Adelaide's role in this episode?
I think it's more like I think Adelaide will be there to pretty much to give motivation for Sid to call off the pranking altogether. Because I want to see Sid's more of her big sister protective side, where she protects Adelaide from harm. I feel that Prankaversary could really highlight that part of her character, and so when she sees Adelaide being roped into their Prankaversary war, and Sid sees like how far they've gone, especially when having Adelaide involved in the pranking, I think that's when Sid will finally decide, okay, guys, enough is enough. You guys have gone way too far. Leave Adelaide out of this. She's too pure. All that stuff. I want to see that.
I swear to God, I hope Adelaide doesn't get pranked. She is too pure for the group. And then in the commercial there was a part where Sid actually get himself. What was it? She got herself eaten by a snake, and I'm like, how did that happen? Was it a prank? And like I said, Sid pretty much getting all of the pranks because it's this war between Lincoln and Ronnie Ann that Sid gets involved in. So it's interesting. Either way, Sidonican fans are probably all happy about this episode, but especially Ronican fans, considering it is a war between these two lovebirds.
Yes, another Sidonican episode. Yes,
I know.
Part 2. Uttermess Part 2. Let's go.
This is more of like a war now with Uttermess, if that's the case. Either way, I'm excited for this one. I think this is going to be the most hype episode for this weekend. So yeah, get yourselves ready. These are both hype because we have a celebrity that will be in one episode of the Casagrandes. Then we have Lincoln in the other episode of the Casagrandes. So this looks to be a fun weekend. I can't wait to see how this goes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see either. It's going to be really fun. And one more thing before we conclude this, I just want to, ask one question. And Loud Crown and Casa Crew, you're free to type in the comments and pick your answer, pick your side. But let me ask you this: are you Team Lincoln or are you Team Ronnie Ann? As for what I think, as for where I stand, Team Ronnie Ann, baby, Team Ronnie Ann.
What if I be Tim Lincoln? This would be like La Casa Civil War. It literally is because
I've always preferred
from the poster, it just tells you like Lincoln and Ronnie Ann are like dueling it out. It just feels like a civil war between these two lovebirds.
See, if it would have been a civil war, if they had their own squads involved. Like, honestly, I think what was missing in Prankaversary is that if you got Lincoln's squad and Ronnie Ann's squad beating up, and then they battle against each other with pranks.
You know what? Let's just say what they say, but I feel like this is, like I said, it's gonna be a fun war between the two of them.
Love is war. Love is war.
Love is war, I guess. All right, so that's pretty much it for our episode, our mini episode of the Loud Casa Talks. Thank you very much all for listening in. We can't wait to review these two episodes coming out next week. So come back here next Thursday. We'll review both Battle of the Grandpas and Prankaversary. Just remember, you can also listen to our Loud Casa Talks anytime on YouTube when it comes to mini episodes, but when it comes to our full episodes, we always have our podcasts. Head over to our Loud Casa Talks podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be there, and you can listen to all of our episodes there. Also, we also do record our episodes on YouTube as well. Just remember to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell to make sure that you know that we'll be live. Now, our next episode of the Loud Casa Talks actually will be all about Lynn Jr., which, by the way, she's right over here. I don't know. Nobody else actually pointed out that Lynn Jr. was actually here. But we are going to have an episode about her. We're going to be talking about what her future is going to be like. What's it going to be? It's pretty much all sports, right? Just like sports, and everything.
Yeah, so honestly, we could tell you guys are going to have a ball with this one. I'm just saying. Yeah. You're going to have a ball listening to us.
And we're going to have we're going to have that episode recorded. Just come back here this Sunday at 8. We might change the time. Maybe go to an earlier time, but at the moment right now it'll be at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hopefully you guys can be able to check out the stream here on YouTube. And we'll be talking about Lynn Jr. all night. All right, and that's pretty much it for us here. So thank you very much for checking out the stream. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. You know, your support is very appreciated. And let me just say that, like I said, again, remember, in this massive heat wave, remember, drink lots of water, turn on the AC, turn on the air conditioner, turn on your fan, and just overall, try to keep cool during this massive heat wave, okay? We don't want you to, get too burned or too dehydrated in a sense. So, like I said, keep cool, guys. Stay cool. And until next time, smell you later, dudes.